Knuckles meet flesh, cinema lies. What I heard was a crack, sharp, wet, violent, like brittle wood snapping inside soaked leather. It echoed. Way too loud. The noise slammed into the chrome tables of sublevel 9, bounced back, and lingered in the air long after everything else went silent. I still hear it. Even now, it rings louder than the constant ventilation hum in my dorm. I didn't blink. That's the part that keeps replaying in my head. He put everything into that punch, momentum meant to shatter bone, meant to prove dominance in a hierarchy I didn't even care about, and I didn't blink. I watched his eyes widen. I watched rage drain into confusion, then collapse into pure horror as his own wrist folded against my skull. The scream came later. First came the snap. Wait. I'm jumping ahead. I'm lying here staring at a water stain on the ceiling shaped like a coastline I'll never see. My hands are shaking. Not fear. Not really. It's adrenaline crashing after my body decided survival mode was necessary. I need to rewind. I need to sort this out before the station simulates morning. The panic came later. This started weeks ago, back when we were still naive enough to think we understood what we'd signed up for. Human integration sounded harmless on a data pad. It didn't sound like a medical emergency. We were new. That's always the excuse. 3 weeks into our first semester at Croc Station Academy. We walked in thinking we were lucky, scholarship kids from a forgettable planet. We knew the reputation. We knew about the Solikites with their dense muscle mass, the hive minds, the silicon intellects. We were told to stay quiet, stay small. The briefing labeled this place a Class 7 environment, manageable, mid-tier risk. We believed it. I believed it. For 3 weeks, I lived on eggshells. Afraid to bump into something fragile. Afraid to look at a predator species the wrong way. I hunched my shoulders. I smiled that harmless, apologetic smile that says, "Please don't hurt me. I'm just here for the credits." I made myself small. Then came the cafeteria. Third meal cycle. The air reeked of synthesized protein and ozone, a smell that clings to your clothes. I was exhausted. Not mentally. Gravity exhausted. My bones felt dense. My muscles ached for something heavy to lift. And there it was. Chocolate cake. Real sugar. Real fat. A tiny slice of home in a station full of nutrient paste. And that's when Vexthorn noticed me. Vexthorn Solikite. Even the name sounded like a warning. He sat at the center table like a king, 8 feet of bluish-gray muscle and entitlement. Everyone knew him. His family owned asteroid belts. He moved like gravity itself belonged to him. When he saw me take the last slice of cake, he didn't see a person. He saw a problem that needed correcting. A soft variable in the food chain. He backhanded my shoulder. It didn't hurt. That's what nobody understands. He struck me, and it felt like a child bumping into my leg. I barely shifted. Physics betrayed him. He expected me to fly. I moved maybe an inch. I turned to face him, holding my tray, confused. No witty remark. No heroic line. Just silence. That's when he escalated. He wound up the punch so clearly I could have written a thesis on it before it landed. And I didn't move. That moment is burned into me. Why didn't I duck? I could have. My reflexes work. But somewhere deep in my brain, somewhere ancient, a switch flipped. Not fight. Not flee. Brace. So I let him hit me. The impact was dull. Heavy against my temple. My neck popped like a morning stretch. But his hand. I felt it collapse. Like clay smashed against stone. The vibration traveled through my skull, down my spine, and into the floor. Silence swallowed the room. 300 students. 40 species. Waiting for the human to break. I took a bite of the cake. Not to be dramatic. My brain short-circuited, and the only command left was eat. I chewed. Swallowed. Looked at him clutching his ruined hand, his skin shifting colors I didn't know were possible. You should get that checked, I said calmly. Hitting bone hurts. After that, it was medical lights and screaming. Not mine. Dr. Helen couldn't make sense of it. She scanned my head again and again. My skull lit up like armored plating. Dense. Redundant. Vexthorn's hand was dust. Shattered completely. He kept saying it was impossible. Solokites were built for high gravity. I should be dead. Then the truth surfaced. The real files. The ones not in orientation. Class 12. To sit in a room where everyone suddenly looks at you like a live grenade, that changes you. Class 12 environments, tectonics, hurricanes, predators, viruses, gravity. 1 standard G. To them, lethal. To us, normal. Dr. Helen explained it simply. Punching me was like punching solid durasteel. And that's when Vexthorn finally understood what he'd done. I saw it in his eyes. Real fear. Not the fear of a bully who lost. The fear of prey realizing it was standing next to a predator the whole time. That's what keeps me awake. I didn't hit him back. If I had. I look at my hands now. They look ordinary. Small. But the math doesn't lie. Dr. Helen ran the numbers. If I had countered with instinct, with the muscle density required just to stand upright in Earth gravity, I wouldn't have broken his hand. I would have collapsed his chest. I would have driven through bone like wet cardboard. That realization hit during the hearing. While his lawyers tried to paint me as a monster, I realized they weren't wrong. Here, I am one. A biological tank walking through a nursery. I told the tribunal the truth. About persistence hunting. About chasing prey until it drops. About healing from wounds that would kill others. About adrenaline. About the moment I wanted to tear him apart, and didn't. I didn't strike him because I didn't want to kill him. The silence after that was heavier than anything in the cafeteria. Vexthorn was expelled or suspended. I don't care which. He won't look at me anymore. Nobody does. Hallways empty when I walk through them now. They treat me with careful, fragile respect, like I'm an unexploded bomb sitting in a library. Maybe I am. I lie back on my pillow. The water stain hasn't changed. The ringing in my ears finally fades. People say I won. Humanity won. We're strong. We're tough. The best. I don't feel tough. I feel heavy. Like I'm walking through a world made of glass, and every step risks shattering something. I learned a lesson tonight, but not the one he did. He learned not to punch humans. I learned restraint. That I have to be careful. Constantly. Because the line between a scuffle and a funeral is how hard I choose to push. The galaxy thinks humans are dangerous because we survive. We're dangerous because we hold back. And if anyone ever makes us stop holding back, God help them. I close my eyes. I can still hear the crack.